Hi, and welcome to #HashBrowns. What we're going to talk about today is Kohlberg's moral development theory in regards to The Walking Dead. Now, most people think The Walking Dead is nothing but a TV show about zombies or comic book about zombies, but really it's an actual study into human behavior after the zombie apocalypse. Basically, humans learning to survive from the basic needs on up. Now, when it comes to the zombies themselves, they're non-players in this whole thing. They're really a representation of the human race today and how everyone can go about their own lives, meeting their own needs. However, being completely oblivious to their own surroundings. As far as the non-zombie population within the TV or comic book series, they're basically the representation of a small part of the human race that actually pays attention to their surroundings, pays attention to what's going on to people, and actually starts not caring just for themselves, but also others, especially for in the fact that most people who are like this stick together. So let's just go on when it comes to the moral development. In Kohlberg's moral development theory, he has 3 different levels, and each level basically has 2 stages. When it comes to pre-conventional level, the 2 stages include stage 1 being the punishment or obedience and punishment phase. In there, you learn how to follow the rules or be punished for them. An example for this in The Walking Dead is everyone after the zombie apocalypse started to roam into different bands of humans roaming the earth, trying to find some commonality, trying to survive and away from the zombies. Now, when it came to the survival, anytime you joined a band, you'd have to learn the rules. Now, if you did not learn the rules, you would be punished for it. And punishment could mean anything from being beaten to having your property stolen and being removed from the band, or death. And death, unfortunately, could also mean just being left out in the cold and being overtaken by the zombies. With stage 2, that is the reciprocity stage. In stage 2, we're learning about how to go ahead and when you follow the rules, you are rewarded for it. With The Walking Dead, when you join a band of humans, in this case, the main characters of the show and in the comic book are Rick, his son Carl, Glenn, Maggie, that they later meet in later on, Beth, Maggie's sister, Carol, Daryl, and Michonne, and Tyrese. Those are the basic ones that you will meet within the show. Now, when it comes to the reciprocity stage, and I just thought I'd introduce the characters anyway. When it came to the reciprocity stage, anytime you join any of the different bands going around the earth, when it comes to this different band, what they're wanting to do is, it doesn't matter what you were before, it doesn't matter what social status you had before, it doesn't matter who you were. It is basically whatever innate skill you have and you contribute to the community, to the group, then you are guaranteed protection, you're guaranteed survival in this very strange zombie apocalyptic world. Okay. Now, level 2 of Kohlberg's theory happens to be what's called the conventional level. In the conventional level, here is where we're starting to grow more, okay, as humans. This is where we're starting to develop. In stage 3 and 4, I combine those because basically what we're looking at is the behavioral and approval stage, which is stage 3, and the moral behavior and reward section. Now, the perfect example is when the group of characters I just mentioned earlier, they met up with more people. And when they met up with more people, they were needing to move on because their particular area was not safe for them. What they ended up doing was moving and meeting another group and joining another group that had taken shelter in an old prison. Now at this old prison, they had to learn to work together. Now here again, we're taking the innate skills that they had learned. And here they were talking about farming, protection, just kind of food development, raising animals to survive as a community. Now, the strange part is, part of the survival of the community is going back against what they had learned earlier in life before the zombie apocalypse, was that killing was wrong. The thing is, when it comes to killing in their particular world, it was a necessity. It became a necessity. So in that respect, they had to learn to kill the zombies to protect their community. They had to kill any threat of anyone becoming a zombie due to some kind of infection. And they had to learn to live with killing even their own friends as long as it protects the community. This is what they had looked at as developing their moral behavior. They had already gained approval by their contributions to the community as raising food and protection against the zombies. But the biggest thing of all is that they were rewarded with life, and that's what they were looking at, the survival itself. The last level that I'm going to talk about, the last level that Kohlberg mentions in his moral development, happens to be the post-conventional level. We've gone through pretty much everything, and if you watch the show and you read the comic books, you will see the different levels develop in front of you in almost every single episode of the show. I mentioned before Rick and his son Carl. Carl was pretty much not necessarily a teenager, but he was still pretty young, and in about maybe 10 or 12 years old. Okay. He has seen his surroundings change dramatically from his father's character, his father's demeanor, as far as the good man he had always known him to be and upholding the law, to cold instinct survivalist. With Carl, in this whole cycle of survival, he has watched and he himself has developed his own opinion. In the post-conventional theory, or post-conventional level rather, we are now talking the last two stages of Kohlberg's theory, which happens to be internalized values and moral responsibility, and that's stage 5, and then stage 6, universal ethical principles, basically taking what you have learned as far as moral development goes and developing your own opinion. Now the young Carl, through this whole time, he is still learning about life itself, but in this particular stage, he comes out and he is starting to learn and take into account what he believes, and take into account not just what his father believes, because in the previous stages of Kohlberg's theory, it's him really learning about what's right and wrong. Carl's learning what's right and wrong. Carl now is at that point in his life where he is developing his opinion of right and wrong. And that's where stage 5 and 6 come in. The perfect example, and why I picked Carl as an individual to talk about instead of talking about the entire group. In most recent episodes of the television show, they meet up with a priest named Father Gabriel. At this point in time, Carl's father, Rick, and the rest of the group, which are all adults, are very leery of Father Gabriel. They're very leery about any new person they meet because along their travels they have met humans that are extremely opportunistic, have been mentally unstable. And then they meet Father Gabriel, who has survived all this time in his church, but there is also some kind of backstory that not everyone is sure about. During this time, Carl himself looks at Father Gabriel, takes in the situation, and develops his own opinion about Father Gabriel. Carl's father, Rick, comes up to Carl and asks him, "Why do you trust him so much?" And though Carl has seen so much evil in this world along his travels with his father and the group they're with, and as much killing as even Carl has done himself against evil people, he turns to his father and says, "Not everyone in the world can be that bad." And that is his opinion of Father Gabriel. He didn't take the opinion of all the other adults that he's been traveling with, not even the opinion of his own father. He developed his own moral opinion of what Father Gabriel is like. So this is my interpretation of Kohlberg's moral development theory in regards to The Walking Dead. So stay tuned. Next time we may actually have another discussion in regards to why do we call this hashtag hash browns. Okay, so until then, have a good night and we'll see you later. Bye.